In the previous lesson, you learned how Python syntax works and how code is structured using indentation and clear rules. In this lesson, we are going to talk about variables and data types, which are the foundation of every Python program. If you understand variables properly, everything else in Python becomes easier. So functions, conditions, APIs, and database, all of it. So in this lesson, we will use one single example. We will slowly build it step by step, and I will explain exactly what Python is doing at each step. So do not rush this lesson. Variables are simple, but misunderstanding them causes many bugs later. So let's begin. So what is a variable? So a variable is a name that refers to a value stored in memory. You can think of a variable as a label or a name tag or attached to a value. Python does not require you to declare the type of a variable in advance. Python decides the type automatically based on the value you assign. Now let's see this in the code. So if I write like a username is Alice, so now this is one variable. So this line creates a variable name called username. Okay, so the equal sign does not mean it's equals like in math. It basically assignment. So Python reads this line from right to left. So first what it does, let me write here. First it sees the value Alice. Okay, so from right to left. So it sees the value Alice, and the value is a string, which means it's a text. The Python stores this value in the memory, and finally it attaches this value to the variable username. Okay, so the variable does not contain the value, rather than it refers to the value. Okay, now if I write another variable like age 25, so this value is a number and it's an integer. So as you see, there are no quotes here, so it's an integer value. If we use like quotation here, it's a string. Okay, so when we use like this, Python identify this value as a number and as an integer. Okay, and it starts same like this variable username. So it starts reading from the right to the left. Okay, so it's identify this value as an integer, and it stores this integer value in the memory, and it assigns this value to this variable age. Okay, now I'm gonna write another variable like this, for example, and let's make it true. Okay, so this is a Boolean variable. Okay, that's a Boolean. So if we use true or false, okay, so false, it's this variable stores a Boolean value. So a Boolean represents truth values, either true or false. And in Python, true and false starts with a capital letter. You can't write it like true, then you will get error. So for example, let's run this code. If I run this code, you can see that is error. You are seeing the error, and in Python, error message is very descriptive, so you should always read the error message to understand the bugs and issues. So you can see the name is true, so you mean true. So yeah, can't use true, you have to use capital true in Python. So like now if I want to, as you know, like the print function that we already use in our previous lecture. So if you now want to print all of these, you can just use the variable name, okay, like this. So it will execute. If I run the code, you can see all the hash and values is showing in the console, okay. So what it does, this tells the Python, go to the memory, find the value associated with the username, and then print it, okay. So as we see that username Alice associated to the username, so that's why Alice is printed. Similarly, same here, go to the memory, find the value associated to the age and print it. Same for admin, okay. So this is how Python assigns value to the variable. And yeah, so in this example we use three different types, like this one is string, this one is integer, and this one is Boolean. So we will talk about more types in future lectures. So now I will talk about some common mistakes that Python developer do in their when they write code. For example, if you write like 23, for example, like this, it will not count as an integer, it's a string. So yeah, and this is one mistake. And also I think I already said earlier, you can't use small letter here for the Boolean values. You have to always use capital T or capital F, okay. So this is one mistake. And okay, and one more thing, like you can't like write this like this because this variable is not defined yet, okay. So you can't, you have to define the variable first and then you have to use this in a function or whatever you use, okay. So you have to first declare the variable first. So now I'm gonna talk some best practices for variables, like how you write the variables in Python. So when you write the variables in Python, use clear and meaningful names. About single letter variables, in small cases, use snake case in Python. It's a best practice. And make variables name descriptive in like in the value. For example, in the username, we use username, so you can also declare this only like this, okay. So this is not the good way to declare the variable, so try to make it descriptive, okay. So let's summarize this lesson, what we learned. So in this lesson we learned what variables are, how assignments works in Python, what data types are, how Python decides data types, and some common beginner mistakes. So in our next lesson we will go deeper into numbers and strings and learn how to work with data instead of just storing it. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next lesson.